Warrior's mindset is about conditioning the mind, body, and spirit. It takes practice, commitment, vision, goal setting, determination, sharp focus, respect, and discipline. Once you learn it, you can apply it to all aspects of your life. The Warrior's mindset prepares you for the largest competition ever, the competition against self.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Warrior's Mindset. Once again, we are back here to uplift you, empower you, and do what's necessary to become the best version of ourselves. Warrior's Mindset is about tapping into our God-given strength, man, that lives deep down inside of us, mind, body, and spirit. That's right. But what we want to do before we introduce you to our guests, we want to start with a prayer like we always do. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Once again, guys, do not forget Warrior's Mindset, always about tapping into the principles. The principles is in the book, the Warrior's Mindset book, which is called Daily Fight Devotions. Every day we wake up, there is a fight. But most of the time, those fights are just really find that inner peace within ourselves. We're talking about the principle this month, which is called unity. Once again, what I would like to revisit is another level of what that represents per week. Because the way the book works, we go through the principle once a month, but then each and every week, we got to break that principle down to accordance to what we're dealing with and what we're trying to find to be true from our daily struggles. It says unity. Selflessly, we stand in a selfless way together to unite for the ultimate unity of changing our community, our families, in the world, just through our living example. So once again, Warrior Mindset, July, the month of unity. All right, guys, we're going to get you to our guests. We have a young man dear to my heart, my brother. Once again, we work together. We love one another. We always there for each other. I still remember being in Vegas. He almost hit me with an elbow when I snuck up on him and tried to give him a move. I probably should have publicly said that. I'm like, yo, Master Mo, hold up. It's me. It's Willie Bethea, man. But Master Mo did so many great things, man. I can go on and on. The Wesley Snipes show, the movies, but most importantly, a brother in the martial arts and a real brother, man. A real master of the arts. And also a man that took an art that was there, sitting there on his shelf. And many people was trying to take it and steal it and do this and give it a different name. And I remember our conversation and what I say, Master Mo, just do the curriculum, man. You know what I said? Put it in writing, do the videos, and become what we forget to do sometimes. We don't put it in writing and document it, so we don't become a part of history. Guys, we have Master Mo. Master Mo, what's up, my brother?
Hello.
How you doing today, man? 52 blocks in the house.
Every day is good, man. You know, with the 5-2s, being alive, you know, I'm happy for all of that. My blessings.
Well, I can see the smile and the happiness on your face, brother. You always been a happy brother, spirit, all that good stuff. But get an audience, brother, a brief introduction on yourself.
You know, I'm a long-time martial artist most of my life. Of course, I've worked on the films. I've written films. The Empty Hands was Isaac Hayes' probably last film almost. I was actually supposed to be the transporter, true story. I did a movie called The One with Jet Li, and it was an honor to fight Jet Li in The One. And Corey Young and them, they wanted me to be the transporter. Unfortunately for me, we had this guy, Jason Statham, on the set. And it's so funny because he wanted to fight Jet, and I was like, who's this guy think he is? You know how much I had to go through just to fight Jet, you know, because they really vet you. They want to know that you're authentic, just to be in his atmosphere. I'll give you a quick example. I threw what's called an axe kick, which I was known for, you know, we'll put them legs up and drop it on it.
Yeah.
I'm hitting all the Jet Li stunt dudes. Pow, but these dudes are tough as nails. And the director is telling me higher, faster, whatever. And I'm saying, look, I'm hurting these stunt guys. So Jet walks in, he moves he's got 5 stunt guys, he moves them out the way. So I think it was, I don't know, it was production manager or something comes over to me and says, "Hey Mo, whatever you do, don't hit Jet." I said, "I kind of know that." So he raised his foot up. I raised my foot up like this. He steps on my base foot. I mean, us as martial artists understand that. He stepped on my base foot and stepped out before it landed. And I started laughing. And he turns to me and goes, "Why you laugh?" His English wasn't that good at the time. "Why you laugh?" I said, "Because you are truly Jet Li." I, all I felt was his foot touching my base foot. Anyway, back to Jason Statham and the transporter situation. It was being financed by Mercedes Benz, and later on the Transporter 2, it was BMW. So Mercedes Benz didn't want to go with me, but they went with Jason Statham. Me and my mom was looking at it, God rest her soul. My mom's like, "Isn't that the movie you showed me the script for?" I said, "Yeah, Mom, I know." But Isaac Hayes told me, he said, "Mahaliel, do your own movie." So he was one of my students, and I said, "Hey man, if I do the movie, you gonna be in it?" He said, "Yeah, I'll be in your movie, of course." So I did The Empty Hands independently, like you, my brother, who go around with the camera. There's a Willie shoot everything. Everything is good footage for Willie. You don't care. You don't have to dress it up, and that stuff that you have documented is what we call in the movie business raw footage. You got raw footage movie stuff all over the place. You never set us up. You never told us we had to do the right pose. It's always as is. Let's shoot it. So something that folks have to learn from you. And then what they call that raw footage, and they call it found footage. And you do a lot of found footage stuff, man. Incredible. I had to go when we first talked about the 52 blocks. And I said, when we were in Vegas, myself, you, Reno Morales, and you and Reno looked at me and said, "Hey, man," I said, "that's the 52 blocks." You said, "Yeah, but do the curriculum, put it out there." And like a good student, I listened to my friend, I listened to my teacher, and it snowballed into what it is today, where we got people like Jonathan Majors doing the 52 blocks, and now they're calling it the 52 blocks, and not just doing the 52 blocks and calling it something else. So it's been a long journey, but of course, your advice that you gave me was so on point, because you knew that I was a master martial artist and knew something about curriculum. Curriculum is important. Structure is important. And that's something that the 52 blocks didn't have. It had talent. It was an improvisational art, and the most talented wins. But we know as martial artists, everybody ain't talented. Yeah. How does David beat Goliath? Everybody's not the biggest, the strongest, the most athletic. So you have to have a curriculum. So what I gave the 52 blocks was a curriculum that everybody could follow and go along with, and eventually get better at doing it.
I just want to add one thing about that, because as you're talking about that curriculum and things like that, but that goes back to a warrior. That's what warriors do. Since the beginning of time, you went out, you hunt, and you found the way to effectively capture the lion, get the food, you know what I'm saying, deal with the things that were trying to hurt you. And everybody like, "How did you do that?" And you did it again. And they're like, "How are you doing this?" And then you realize that since the beginning of time, let's put it in stone. Let's put it on whatever, and then put it on pad and paper. And you said it. That's so important, especially an art like 52 blocks or creative expression. If we don't learn to put it on, document it as a warrior, that legacy can't live on. So you didn't gave 52 blocks that sort of legacy. But how important is that element Uh, um, we talk about the curriculum, but what's behind the curriculum? What's the history behind why that curriculum even is more relevant and invaluable to so many people understanding that culture?
The curriculum has a set of principles, and what happens if you don't have a curriculum, it doesn't have value.
Yeah.
Every martial arts system has value, respect, honor, self-esteem, etc., etc., etc. And without that, you don't really have the guidelines of a martial arts kind of environment. So what happens is two things. Now, I don't want to talk from a business aspect, but if you teach kids rob the bank, that mother or father, they're taking their kids right out. I've seen some of the hardest, and I teach in Holland for many years. I seen the guys come in with the Rolex watches and the heavy chains, and they were in the game. They were doing something.
Yeah.
You understand? And guess what they wanted their sons to be? Doctors and lawyers. Guess what their sons and daughters went to? Private school. They didn't want their sons and their daughters to be hustlers. It was so funny. My wife, works with me in my dojo like your wife's work with you. And guy comes in and he goes, wife starts the credit card thing. And I don't do the credit card. The wife said, well, we don't want him because he doesn't want to do the credit card. I told my wife, I said, stop, let me talk to him. I said, this is how much it costs for a year. He said, oh, really? Make sure you take care of my son.
Cash rules everything around me. Dollar bill, y'all.
That's right. He got a Rolex on. He got a Rolex. He got a big diamond necklace. He doesn't want to do credit cards. Don't do credit cards. But he does want his kid to learn honor and respect. He wants his child to learn all the stuff that he see or saw in those old Kung Fu movies that we were raised on. He wants his child to get those elements. And if you go and start talking about all the negative things in your life and nobody wants to hear that. So that's how a lot of times the art was getting lost because, when I was in jail, nobody wants to hear those stories. If there's a time and a place, and more than everybody, there's a time and a place for those stories. But we don't want to hear that as your explanation as far as me learning this art. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to take some stuff from it. I'm going to do skull and crossbones. I'm going to do a cage. I'm going to do dirty birds. I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to give any credit to the art.
Yeah.
And what I was able to do, because of people like yourself, I'll never forget that day. We were watching some people who were doing 52 block movements, and they were not even Americans, but they were doing the Batman movie. And I said, that's the 52s. And the guy came over to us. Remember, he said, yeah, it's the 52 blocks, but you guys don't know how to, trademark stuff.
Yeah.
And I looked at this guy and said, I don't know if I should smack him or thank him. The nerve of this guy.
Yeah.
Should I smack him or thank him? Yeah. But I thanked him, and I thank you for being there that day, because you were one of the first people to give me confidence in just go out and just do it. You can do it. A matter of fact, I always tell this story. When we were, it's everybody's martial artist dream to be on the cover of Black Girl magazine. You and I have both been on the cover of Black Girl magazine. But during the time when they were considering me, you were already locked in. They had you. Now, I do numbers. So Black Girl magazine is not 12 months in the year anymore. It's every other month now. Well, I know that one issue is going to go to who? Bruce Lee. Every year, that's an annual issue. So what did I tell you? There's only 5 issues a year. Are my numbers right?
That's right. You're right. Yeah.
I've never seen them put 2 black martial artists on the cover of their magazines in 1 year. Not only did they put both of us, but both of us, if I'm correct, are one of the highest grossing ones they have for the year, were both the magazines with me and you on the cover. But the story and the lesson that I try to teach everybody is you could have very much said some negative or contrary things about me to protect what you had going on. So yeah, I don't know. But instead you were like, oh yeah, you gotta put him in. This is my guy. Oh, he good people. I'm paraphrasing what you said.
Yeah.
But in that statement made it where there was no crab in the barrel between what we were doing. And it's so funny because I always told my students when I told them this story, I said, I don't know if I would have did that. Just being honest. I don't know. So here's how it goes around. When we get ready to do something with Jonathan Majors, they asked me about like Burley. And you know why they asked you, right? Because they're waiting for you to say, I'm better. He's not a good guy. You know, they're waiting for that. And I had my moment. And I said, oh man, he's fantastic. I did a seminar for him. He's one of the guys that really was out here getting it out, putting it on the internet. I came after him. Nothing but good things to say. And yeah, suggest you use him. He's going to be good. I said, we can still work. So they worked with both of us instead of one of us.
What you hit on right there, Massimo, you hit the unity, man. And once again, you got me getting teary-eyed. Because I love you, brother. And I know you know that. From the bottom of my heart, you know how much you mean to me, and I know how much I mean to you. So why would I say anything against you? Why would I do anything other than that? I mean, brother, we like family. I think that's what's missing. That's what a warrior is, man. You know, that's what the streets used to be. It's like, it's called, when we talk a ride or die, it's like, yo, when my man down, I got him. I got you. Right. I got you. I ain't going to cross you. That's what our world needs to see even more. And when we talk about black, and I know I did have two interviews, and they like powerful black men. And I know I keep on talking about how important it is for us as men to stick together, uplift one another. And it's okay to be disagreeable at moments in times. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't have to be disrespectful. And that goes back to what you talk about by you adding that historical element of the martial arts. But not even just martial arts in the Asian sense, but because also, in Africa, everything was structured. Everything was follow a curriculum. What we done did, just as, I guess, modern day martial artists, we got it. I mean, when I was in jail and I realized, hold up, man, I need to write books. I need to write curriculums. And when I came home, that's what changed my life. When I was talking about $20 in the dream, it wasn't just $20. There was some structure to the $20 to make it equal more money. And that's what you're saying, brother. And I think for you to even hit on that and even get that, but that don't, and I thank you for giving me credit, but that goes back to me just watching the great ones like Chuck Norris and all those people doing it, man. I say, hey, I'm gonna follow their path. So now you got 52 blocks as the foundation. You done brought a level of elegance to a gritty expression of survival, which they call jailhouse box and 52 blocks. I mean, what's next, brother? What's the higher? And you talked about kids. What's so important for people to come together to help continue to make it a art that's acceptable amongst all cultures and all levels of economical growth?
I think what's next is I have a movie I did called Blood Mix, which is very similar to which is Sinners comparable because it's a historical movie. And the 52 Blocks is featured fighting form. And then Jonathan Majors has this movie, True Threat. And again, the 52 Blocks is its featured fighting form. And I think that a lot of us didn't know about kickboxing until Van Damme did kickbox. Even from our regular people, we didn't know about Aikido until Steven Seagal did Above the Law, and we really wasn't into Thai boxing until um, um, Tony Jaa did On Bak. So I think the importance of the cinema is very important to the growth of an art. You name a lot of martial artists. I remember Raid, the style that they used, a lot of us didn't use back in the day because remember they wore a skirt and they had a hat on their head. They were Muslim. But the movie Raid introduced you to that fighting art. And people understand that these different fighting arts, all of them need a movie that sort of rings the bell. So I think the next move and the next thing's going to happen is that there's going to be a film. Hopefully it's Blood Mix and it's Jonathan Majors' movie, but a movie that really rings the bell and make people want to come out and learn and know that it's something that they all can learn. It's no longer a hidden martial arts. It's no longer a martial arts that we don't talk about. That is some martial arts that you can actually go to and learn. That's why I wanted, and I'm so honored that you're coming down to New York to do a seminar, because we need to understand that a martial arts without kids is kind of like doesn't exist. You have to have children, so it has to be acceptable to that generation as well. When you only have a generation with only males and at a certain age level, you're not able to grow. It's like I remember I was in a seminar, and I was listening to the person in the seminar, and he said it was Henzo Gracie. I trained Henzo Gracie, right? I trained, but before I trained with him, I took a seminar. I thought the seminar was horrible. I was like, oh man, this seminar sucks. And it's always one thing that the seminar does that can change. The reason why I kept going because I went to the seminars and I always learned one thing. So I went to him and I said, yeah, small talk, whatever it was. And he said to me, which rang a bell. He said, my friend, you have no white belts, you have no school. And I said, wow. And at that time, you know how schools changed. Everybody in the school is black belt now. Yeah. Look, I had these guys for like a 10-year run, and the school is packed with black belts. And I wonder what's going on, but the black belts kind of like don't want anybody else to train. It's like them. I had the plaques and the pictures on the wall when we came in. They have lockers. They loved it. And they only wanted them to be there. I said, oh, that's why. I got to start really trying to market and attract new people. Because all I got is this revolving door of black belts who built me for a long time. So I went to the seminar and I got that out of the seminar. And also got an opportunity to spend the next decade training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with him and met a lot of great people and had a great time learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and putting that other black belt in my pocket, which is what I wanted to do. And now I can actually take to the 52 blocks and I can add the Jiu-Jitsu. I can, if you want to kick, you take Taekwondo. I could add some kicking in there. You want to grapple, you take Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You want to do beautiful movement, you take Kung Fu. Every art has the things that it specializes in. And we've seen mixed martial arts before it was called mixed martial arts, you and I. We've seen eclectic martial arts before it was people coined it as, oh, this is eclectic, or these combination martial arts. So I'm able to bring some of those other elements to the 52 blocks, a grappling component, a comprehensive weapon component, and bring all that to the curriculum. Again, curriculum is important.
Hope you're enjoying the show. Want to tell you about something that's dear to my heart. My book, The Warrior's Mindset Daily Devotions. Pick up your copy by hitting the link below. Remember, if your principles are negotiable, you don't have principles. Be the warrior from the inside out. And one of the things, two things you brought up that hit. I mean, we talking 52 blocks, so we talking street. You like, you know what I always say. I'm aware of it, but I'm street combat, man. You know what I'm saying? That I come from out there on the corner in the jail cells and doing all that stuff. So I had to just take that survival and format a curriculum that truly can show people how to deal with the insane guy I was when I was on the other side of the block. But what we do talk about, even the OGs on the block looked out for the shorties, man. You can't, you know what I'm saying? There can't be a block without the young kids. And as they always say, as I remember, it's like, yo, do what I say, not what I do. Because they had to make those sacrifices to hustle, take care of families. So they said, shorty, stay in school. Don't do this, man. You cutting class, whatever. They got mad with you, man. So when brothers like me or you or anybody transcend to another level from them, now we can say we are examples of what we say. You feel, and a lot of people don't get that, and that's what you were saying. There was a time where your words were stronger than your actions because you had to do certain things because you didn't have the knowledge, or society at that moment in time, you didn't see the opportunity to benefit, so you did a crime, but you spoke the truth. We learned from that now. We live the truth. But you can't live the truth and still glorify that insanity. What you talking about? We can't glorify jail and hustling and all that stuff. I was one. What you gonna glorify it for? Yeah, am I making? That's what you talking about, right?
Yeah. You got taught. You really rehabilitate yourself. People want to hear that story.
That's right.
Your story. People want to hear how you took it and became a not only one of the greatest martial artists, but also a great family man. How you became that. How you're morally not corrupt. You're morally stable. And how you touched other people with that story. If it's just to pontificate and just to show off that, and people know when you're just trying to use it as, like I'm just showing off and talking that kind of nonsense. What the OGs would tell me was, yo, man, we don't talk about getting caught. We talk about not getting caught.
That's right. Yeah. But the other thing too, man, you know what I mean? And we learn to fight. But if you making money, you ain't trying to fight. Because if you fight, then you can't make money because the heat is on. So the last thing you want to do is have heat on. You want to be quiet. You want what Biggie say, killers moving silence. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be quiet. You want to be humble. You want to build the community. And I'm not promoting, but I'm just, because we talking about that, but that's the truth. We need to expand. We all go through struggle. We all go through adversity. Our adversity just have to be a different type of because of our community. And when you talk about 52 blocks, you can correct me. It was developed in a survival state where that's what you had to do to get through the trenches. And it wasn't that they were promoting jail. They were promoting, this is what we had to do to get through this survival moment. And on the other side, this is what we want to teach you. But we're not trying to talk about, to me, honestly, and this is just my word, this is just me. If you haven't transcended from a negative for a long period of time, then that negative lifestyle that you're talking about is not relevant because you haven't gotten a truck record under you. If you're 10 years away from it, then you got something to talk about. But if you still like a year or 6 months away from it, brother, you haven't survived the test of time.
Right.
Am I making sense? You got to have that experience, right?
Innocent. You haven't had enough time to be away from it because the game's gonna call you back.
Exactly. Yes, that's it.
Especially, especially if you was making money, it's gonna call you
That-
back.
That's it. That's it. And see, look at the beauty here, Master Mo. We talking about the warrior mindset, but we laughing about what it could have been, but we're no longer there. What we said for those people that never, some people ain't gonna never go to the flea market and get the kung fu movies. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you got at the flea market. I don't care what you. There's certain environments. I only want my kids. We might drive to Baltimore, but I ain't gonna let them. Nah, you ain't going to the hood. I ain't taking it. I might go there to teach classes, but I want you to be aware of it. But you're not going there. So what we need to do, and which we are doing, once again, because of the knowledge and the experience, we want to bring that truth to the people that don't have to go there, so they can deal with that sort of energy when it comes. Because I believe it's more energy than it is. If it has to get to the physical combative essence, you've been caught sleeping. I mean, right or wrong, if you didn't have to hit a cat with the elbow, you got caught sleeping. We supposed
Right.
to be at a level now where we supposed to be aware of the vibrations or the energy and say, yo, I ain't going up in that room, man. Look, let's go the other way. Talk to me about that sort of warrior spirit of instinct and awareness and so forth, Master Mo.
Well, that's what we are. We definitely are aware of our environment and aware of, the exits, so to speak. I did this thing on multiple attackers, and I didn't think people were happy with. Some people weren't happy with it because they wanted to see a lot of technique. And what I was telling them was, well, first look for the exit.
Yeah, that's right.
Number one thing, you look for the
Yeah,
exit.
yeah.
Second, how many there? How many are there?
Yeah,
Third, who's the one you're going to attack first?
that's right. That's right.
Fourth, look for the exit.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, a lot of us don't understand, and we have to be aware. Like us, we have to be aware every day, even of our own powers and ability.
That's right.
You know, there was a guy, uh, old guy on a bike. He was saying some derogatory things about this man and his family, and he went up on the sidewalk and he hit the man's wife with the bike. But not hard, but just disrespectful. The guy grabs the guy. Now, the guy who had the bike is an old man, 70, 75 years old. The young man is 40 years old. He's a father. The young man hits him with the bang, bang. Guy falls, hits his head, dies. The young man, the father, now goes to prison for 10 years. So people say, well, how would you handle that? I said, well, I know that I'm in a power situation. I don't fear this man. I'd shake him, smack him on his butt, kick him down the street. I make sure I don't hurt him.
That's right.
Throw his bike into the street. I don't care. But I understand what my abilities are, and I have to explain those gifts to the jury. I don't want to do that. And there's so many times when we're not thinking rationally about what are the gifts that we have received. And as the stewards of the martial arts, which is what you and I are, there's a lot of times we walk away from stuff. We're sparing people.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't know it. Some of them find out, oh, no, man, I didn't know I didn't know you were that guy. I had no idea. I was playing basketball years ago, maybe a decade ago, and I'm playing this guy, and I'm playing with the police, and he's a cop, and we're playing on the court, and this is the police and court officers, and my man starts. The only reason why I'm in the game is because my dojo is down the block. So I teach a lot of these guys. So I'm playing, and the dude's like, "Yeah, I smacked the. You ain't this and blah blah blah," talking real nasty to me. So I calmly game. I get out of here. You're done. So when he finds out who I am, he sits next to me. Goes, yo, man, I didn't know who you were, man. I mean, you could have karate chopped my neck off. I said, no, we're not going to do that. He says, you do it because we're cops? I said, no, because I have to show control over what I want to do. 5 minutes later, he comes to me and goes, hey, is your son the principal of Eagle Academy? I said, yeah, he's the principal. I want to get my son in there. This guy was cursing me out 5 minutes ago. And it shows it's twofold. My son's the principal of Eagle Academy because of the lessons that he learned from me, from watching you, from watching other martial artists, from sitting there. That's why he was able to become a principal, because of the discipline that he had and the focus he had. Now I got this guy cursing me out. I have to be the custodian of the steward of what I know. That means I can't always use it.
That's right. And you know what you brought up there, for me, I think about, I remember when I was incarcerated, and I would practice martial arts every day, but I didn't know nobody. I never really stayed in the day room. I never really connected. I chose to be disconnected with anything that could take me down the path that could elevate the time that I was locked up for.
Right.
But I practice. I knew God. I knew it was a blessing from God for me, because you ain't supposed to be practicing martial arts. And I remember it was one guy came in and he was a real kickboxing champ. You know what I'm saying? And we used to work out, train on the yard. You know, we taught max security prison. We out there, and I know that's God letting us do this. Nobody messing with me. But I remember I was telling him, I said, yeah, man, you shouldn't probably be in there playing cards with him. And, you know what I'm saying? And joking with people like that too much on the basketball court, because they know you're a martial artist. Well, a couple of days later, he on protective custody because they went in on him. So the moral of the story is that, like you say, we need to move quietly. We don't always. I mean, bro, there used to be people used to say, "Yo, you don't give me more potatoes, I'm gonna jank you. I'm gonna do this and that." Old cat say, "Well, look, do you want to go home and get your son, or do you want more time?" I want to go get my son. He said, "Well, go over there and apologize to that man." The real warrior is the one that can say, "I'm sorry." Or the one that can say, man, hey, I'm going to give you a pass, bro. I always say, I can take one spit. If you spit on me one time, I'm going to give you that. Because you caught me. All right, I'm going to give you that one. I'm strong enough to say, all right, if that's how you feel, brother. And I think that's what you're saying. That's the warrior. That's the true essence of master of self. If anything provokes us to react, right, we don't deserve that responsibility. Am I correct, Master Mo?
Yeah, it's a responsibility, and it's not always easy, man. You know, guys talk out the side of their mouth.
Yeah.
You know, and while they're talking, I'm sizing them up, and
Yes.
I have to have I try to respect all people regardless of race, creed, color, or gender. Those are the creeds that we have in the martial arts. That's in the 52s now. We respect all people regardless of race, creed, color, or gender. I respect people, and I only give people a pass because I'm that good. When you become skillful at this, that's why you got that pass. Because I know the damage that
That's right. That's right.
I know what can happen. So, that's why I'm able to give a pass. And also, it helps you to see the ignorance in other people.
That's right.
When people are acting up, you see it. You see it, go, man, what's wrong with that dude? That dude is out of his mind.
Yeah.
But, the martial arts that you learn is to protect yourself, your temple, and to protect your family. And sometimes just being able to speak a word or handle a person in a certain way. Even when I was a bodyguard, I was Wesley Snipes' bodyguard, I was Wayne Gretzky bodyguard. Some of the guys they had before were more like boxers and stuff like that. And these guys, they don't want their fans to be beaten up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so they needed somebody to go talk to them. And the person who had enough level B, level C, we don't always have to go to the top level. And to be able to handle that person and say, hey, man, one guy, Wayne Gretzky, came in the house crying, "Oh, he's the great one. He's the great one. Oh my God, he's in my bar." And I go to him and say, "Hey, this is your bar?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "You like the fact that Mr. Gretzky's here?" "Yeah, of course I do." I said, "If you control yourself, let him eat.
Yeah, that's right.
Then after he eats, I might let you shake his hand.
That's right.
If you continue to act in the way you're acting, I'm gonna have to escort you out of here."
That's right.
I'm sorry, he lets him eat. I said, "Wayne, hey man, just go shake his hand. I gave this guy a promise." Wayne shakes his hand and leaves. But that's what Wayne wanted. He wanted somebody who could handle his fans and not beat them up. But the higher levels of martial arts have taught us how to speak to a person, how to subdue a person, how to keep a person, control a person without going to this all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's important.
And you know, and I bring it back to, you know, once again, as we close it, you know, I bring it back to, and you know this. Let's just talk about the streets, man. The OGs, the people that was getting money, didn't want to fight. Wasn't nobody trying to bang, bang, kill something, do whatever. You see the ignorance that we see in the glorification. I'm gonna do this. That ain't the code of the game.
No,
That in order to get money, you had to be quiet and low profile. And I'm not promoting this, but maybe it can get some people to wake up. If by choice I chose that path, and I chose that path to get my mom off of welfare or do something to better my life, I wasn't married to the game. I knew the consequences of what that life was going to bring me: jails, institutions, and death. In some kind of way, I was going to pay the piper. When I paid the piper as a warrior, and I'm not saying don't snitch like what everybody else be saying, I ain't going to tell because I made this choice myself. What I'm going to do is do my time, as the old Beretta song used to say, don't do the crime if you can't serve it time. Yeah. Don't do it. Give me some closing remarks, Master Mo. Talk to us.
Well, I just think that, you know, the 52 blocks and what we've done is fantastic. I mean, I have a pamphlet here, soon I have a book, but it's just a pamphlet. But when you see people from, I don't know if you can see this, when you see people from China and Japan doing it, then you actually know that we're on the right road in doing this, and that people will look out for this system that we've done. Again, we have the convention coming up, which will happen in August, and that's to get some of the top martial artists in the world to come to the village of Harlem. Last year, I had Bellator world champion Liam McGeary, it's my jiu-jitsu brother, and I had a couple of other people who were there. This year, we're featuring you coming down, and you giving me the double. You're gonna do me in the morning, and you're gonna end the show. So it's just fantastic to have you involved, and it shows that all the years that I've committed to the martial arts, I got friends in high places. So yeah, Shawnee Carter coming down, you know, Mr. International. Ain't nobody got more belts than him, and give people in Harlem an understanding. And I tell anybody, if you're a school owner right now, you need to come down to this, because people like myself and Willie, as martial artists, we learned how to do it the right way. And how we learned how to do it was by going to seminars and going to workshops. Because I don't know, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm looking at this guy, he's got a bunch of students, he's making all this money, and I'm going, I'm better than him. What is he got that I don't have? And when I started to spend my money and fly out to Vegas or fly out to Orlando and spend the whole day, 2 days learning this stuff on how to do it, I realized it's no secret. You just got to go and get it. You know, and that's what
got to pay for it. You got to pay. You got to pay to play. You know what I'm saying?
You got to pay to play. Everybody thinks, and especially in our community, everybody thinks everything is free.
Yeah.
I got 5 black belts. Now one of them got free on it.
Yeah, that's right.
But people want to train with me, and I got to say, hey man, like I told, well, I'm retired now, but hey, I don't have to ask you for dues. You can't come in here and not pay a membership. I saw this Kung Fu movie years ago. I got to get the name of it. But everybody, these Asian dudes, they're in the bodybuilding. So this kid, he kept watching these guys, and these guys didn't just do Kung Fu, they had crazy strength. So the kid, who's the featured actor, comes and he goes, hey, I really want to learn a lesson. What can I do? How can I get lessons? And then, they have the voiceover guy. Well, you have to understand, everyone here pays for lessons. It would be unfair for me to teach you and you not pay like everyone else. But what can I do? Say, okay, well, you can clean up, you can do the floors, you can. And I said, oh, that's how it's done? I went to local martial arts school. I came with the same line that I saw in the Kung Fu movie. And it worked. I said, yeah. And my mother said, he doesn't clean toilets in my house. How are you cleaning toilets now? And they said, yeah, you're going to wash this gi, and you're going to wash that gi, and you're going to clean that and do the work. Nothing is free.
That's right. Well, look, come on, Pastor Brown. When he came and got me, I had to teach gymnastics. I had to give something to get something. And you're right. In order to learn business, I believe that the greatest thing you can do is to always keep learning. Like we say, black belts or white belt are never quit. But even in business, man, you know what I'm saying? We got to evolve. We got to educate ourselves. I mean, I think a lot of businesses, and that's the beautiful thing about what we're offering at your convention, the 37 chambers of business and hustle. Because guess what? The code of the hustling game ain't no different than corporate game if you understand the concept, morals and principles. And guess what? If you're not improving the quality of your customer service, if you don't even know customer service, come on, even a hustler know that you got to treat the consumer correctly. Because guess what? He going to stitch you.
The consumer's going to come and treat it right.
That's right. So, look, come out, guys. If you really want to take it to another level, you got it right here. We know, take your brand. I mean, it's great that you can make a comfortable living off your art. I think that's the greatest thing you can do. If you can find something you can love and you can find a way to make a living off of it to take care of your family, and I call it profitable change. You got to make a profit. But if you take that profit and you give it back into bringing about change in our communities, what you do, what I do, and what many great warriors do, because remember, all the wars that was fought back in the day, every war, even in Japan, Okinawa, and America, when we destroyed so much, guess who had to rebuild? We had to rebuild. So that's what we're doing as warriors. We're trying to rebuild our communities, rebuild our connections and our families, and have a connection like me and Master Mo here, brothers. I mean, this ain't fake. This authentic. So give them some websites, Master Mo, and some emails real fast.
Well, they can email me at Professor Mo 247@gmail. But really, I'd like for them to get into the YouTube channel, go to the 52 Block Federation, and subscribe to the 52 Block Federation. The more we have people involved, the better it gets. I'm trying to get 50,000 people by the end of the year. We're at 20,000 now, but we'll keep going. And the 52 Block Federation will also keep them updated with the convention as well. And the convention is going to be fantastic. I know because I got people like you and others coming down. And these are the things that I want people to actually be exposed to. You know what I'm saying? So I'm exposed in the villas of Harlem. It's also going to be Harlem Week. So you can go out and celebrate after it's over. That's what we did last year. We had the seminar. And then we went to Harlem Week. We walked the streets, and a lot of people came from all other parts of the country, and they never had experienced Harlem Week. So it was like great because they were down there. And I'm going to feed you. Tell your wife I'm going to feed you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to feed you. We had beautiful curry salmon, beef ribs, salad. I mean, red velvet cake. I mean, I made sure everybody ate and had a good time. And I had to kick those guys out after a while. There's so many people. They were talking about martial arts, and everybody was sitting around as they were eating and talking about martial arts. Yeah, we gotta go. This thing is over. Let's get out.
That's what martial artists do, man. But I want to thank you, Master Mo, once again. I know we brother, I'm so grateful. Once again, I'm just so grateful for the love and the support that I get from New York as a whole. When you love the New York, man, look, ain't no greater love than what you get from New York, man, especially New York martial artists. It's hard to get that love from you guys, man.
You got it. So you've earned it over the years, man.
Hey, brother, I brag about it. I tell everybody, no, man, look, I am happy. Look, and that's what I want to say, through this prayer. I just want to bless everyone. I just want to say thank you once again to you. And guys, don't forget, check out 52 Blocks. Don't forget about the convention. Continue to tune into the Warriors Mindset. Don't forget to pick up your book because we are united as one, as warriors, coming together to empower and change our communities. In closing, let's end with the same prayer we started with. And everybody have a blessed day. And here's our prayer. God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And remember, if nobody haven't told you they love you today, we love you and we wish the best for you. Peace and blessings. We out. See ya.